So this video is an easy to do step-by-step guide on how to sew a crop top. I will also be leaving in the description the detailed tutorial video on how to sew this trendy baggy trouser, which happens to be my last video. It's your girl, Wa Apparel. Kindly hit the subscribe button and let's get started. So I have here 1.5 yards of Ankara fabric, which we're going to be using to cut out for our crop top. So I'll go ahead to cut for both the front and the back. So this is 2 pieces of fabric now in a fold. So the actual length of this fabric in a fold is 20 inches, and then the width is also 20 inches. All right, so the length of my crop top is going to be 19 inches, and then the extra 1 inch will be for the folding at the border. So at the very top, I am taking my starting line, which would be taking every other measurement from. So first of all, I'll be taking my neckline measurement. So for the front, it is 3 inches into 3 inches, while for the back it is 3 inches into 1 inch. The width is 3 inches, the depth is 1 inch. For the front, the width is 3 inches, the depth is 3 inches. So having done that, I'll go ahead now to connect all the points together using my free hand. So next will be my shoulder to shoulder measurement. For me, my shoulder to shoulder is 16 inches divided by 2 will give me 8. So I'm taking that measurement now on my starting line. So I'll make a point there. So the remaining allowance, or the remaining length, which is 12 inches, will serve for our sleeve length. Okay, so the sleeve length is 12 inches. Next to that, I'm going to be taking my shoulder slope of 1 inches. I do this a lot in a lot of my tutorial videos, so you could take 1 inch or 1.5, and I'm using my straight rule to connect it back to the neck point. All right, so for the sleeve width, it is 8 inches. So I added an extra 1 inch to it for our seam allowance. So I'm making a point there as well. And I'm going to be ruling a straight line along that point, which is also going to serve as our chest point. So on this line, I'll be taking my bust circumference measurement. So for me, my bust circumference is 40 inches. Divided by 4 will give me 10. So I took that measurement there. And then for ease, I am adding an extra 1.5 inch to it, and also 1 inch allowance for our seam allowance. So the full length of my crop top is 19 inches. So I made a point at the bottom there, and I'm going to be using my straight rule to rule across that point. So the remaining extra fabric, which is about 1 inch, would serve for our folding allowance at the border of the crop top. I also went ahead to connect it back to the point on my chest line, as you can see, and I'm simply using my free hand to draft a curve, a sort of a curve around the armhole area or the armpit area of our outfit. So next, I'll go ahead now to cut out my patterns. All right, so I'll cut out the neckline pattern for the back first, and then after separating the fabric, I'll go ahead now to cut the pattern for the front, as you see me do right now. So on the front point, midpoint there, neckline, you can see me make a point. It's 5 inches. So I'll be opening that area up with my scissors. Okay, so this is the V pattern, or the opening which you saw on that outfit. You can actually trim it a little bit so it will look like a V, but I didn't want mine to be very open. And with my piece of fabric, I'm going to be cutting on that neckline pattern. All right, so this is what I'm going to be using for the interfacing. So I'll go ahead now to pin that piece of fabric along with the front pattern, and then I will be cutting the neck pattern out on that piece of fabric, as you see me do right now. So I would also be doing this for both the back as well. So ensure to take note of what I'm doing. I'm also opening the piece of fabric at the middle of the chest area. So I'll go ahead now to cut and do the same for the back fabric as well. So now I'll be removing my interface from the neck area which I'd cut out, and I'm placing it on the front pattern first on the right sides facing each other, and I'm going to be running my stitches around the area I just indicated with my finger. So I will be doing this for both the front and the back. Please take note that you place the interface on the right side. So after I was done stitching, I am simply making notches around the area that I had stitched. This will make it relax or be properly flattened when ironing it. Okay, so after doing this, I'll go ahead now to iron my hemming gum on it. Okay, so we'll flip it over to the other side and I'll iron it using my hemming gum. So this is what it is looking like after I'd ironed my hemming gum on it. So I'll be placing the back fabric on top of the front fabric, the right sides facing each other as you see me do right now. And I'll go ahead to run my stitches around the shoulder areas as I'm indicating with my finger. Okay, so that will be our first stitching on the shoulder, and this is what it is looking like after I was done. So go ahead to open up that stitch area, stitch portion. I didn't have to show it. I used my hemming gum to iron that portion flat. Okay, so around the sleeve border I would also be making 2 folds, and I'll go ahead to run my stitches. So this is what it is looking like after I was done stitching. Like I said, I also used hemming gum to hem around the shoulder area that I had stitched earlier. So now I'll be stitching on both sides with 1-inch seam allowance as I'm indicating with my chalk right now. So after that, I also stitched around the border area, which is the bottom of the crop top, and I also made notches on the side so it will be properly flattened when ironing. So that's basically it for the making of our crop top. It really looked beautiful when I wore it. So this is me wearing the crop top with my baggy pants with waistbands and drawstring. Thank you so much guys for watching today's video. In case you would want to know how I made this baggy pants with drawstrings, kindly check for link in the description.